Well, hello there. Thank you for tuning in to Hunt's Kitchen and Designs. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different in that we're going to actually be telling a story of a project that we worked on. So, I hope you enjoy. Once upon a time, two married, middle-aged working professionals came home to a kitchen completely flooded from a broken pipe. Of course, they weren't happy about this, but money wasn't an issue, so they decided to make lemons out of lemonade by completely remodeling their kitchen. Because the damage was so extensive, they needed to replace absolutely everything. The cabinets, countertops, floors, and backsplash. They had a few ideas of things that they liked, but they had no idea where to even begin. Within 5 minutes of our first meeting, I knew what our first priority needed to be. We needed to help the Bensons take a deep breath and realize that getting a new kitchen is supposed to be fun, and that it was all going to work out. Our next priority was to prove it. Now, proving it sounds like it was going to be hard, but we actually have a 5-step process that we walk everybody through that simplifies it. Just like algebra is made easier by the order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, there is a design order that can make your life way easier. Step 1, identify constants and changes. The potential and changes on this one included, as I mentioned before, the cabinets, countertops, floors, appliances, and backsplash. We need to know what's changing for replacements, and we need to know what's staying the same so that the replacements can match. If the floors aren't changing, it really doesn't make any sense to pick cabinets that don't match the current floors. Now, you'd think that this would be obvious, but you'd be surprised. The next step is define the style, genre, and the design preference. Now, that sounds like it would involve a series of complicated questions which would require a design degree to answer accurately, but again, not so. We can learn everything we need to know by helping you make just 2 simple decisions. First, pick a cabinet door style. This tells me volumes about your preferred design genre. Next, pick a cabinet color. This sets the color palette for the rest of the project. Knocking out these 2 choices helps us hit the ground running and makes every other decision easier because they all build upon one another. We carry 5 different manufacturers, ranging from import cabinets at very competitive pricing up to fully custom cabinets. They have the best quality, but at a much higher price. Each manufacturer is chosen to fill a specific need, and together they allow us to offer the full range of what's available out there in the marketplace. Our goal for every client is to find their dream kitchen, regardless of budget constraints. And in the Bensons case, there were no budget constraints, so they quickly skipped over any budget options and went straight to the semi-custom or mid-range pricing and also the full custom or the high-end price cabinets. Now, eventually, we narrowed it down to 2 different doors. Now, their tastes were very traditional, so both doors were raised panel, warm wood tone with dark glaze. In fact, both doors were so similar they were even difficult to tell apart. That is until you examined the cost. The full custom kitchen cost about $10,000 more than the semi-custom. Their next question is exactly what yours would be. Is the full custom really worth paying that much more? The short answer is yes, but they weren't asking a yes or no question. They were asking a value question. What they were actually asking, is the full custom really better for me? And the answer to that is a much more subjective one. And again, the unique thing about this project was the fact that money was no issue. So the price for both the custom and the semi-custom were both well within the client's budget. And their choice wasn't whether or not they could afford the upgrades, it was whether or not they valued those upgrades enough to pay an extra $10,000 for them. In the Bensons case, the answer was no. They could see the custom was nicer, it just wasn't $10,000 nicer to them. Alright, step 3, build a design board. Once a cabinet, door, and color are picked, we have a foundation to start building on, so the next step is, again, build a design board, which is just a fancy way of saying choose floors, counters, and backsplash that match the cabinets, and then lay it all out for the client to see. The Bensons picked the Savano driftwood with glaze, which is a semi-custom door and a very traditional choice. Now, finding floors and countertops is simply a matter of focusing on only the materials that fit well with that cabinet. With traditional, that means warm, rich colors and natural stone. For countertops, we focused on granite and travertine for floors, and both were picked inside of 10 minutes. Once the dominoes start, it's pretty amazing how fast they fall. Alright, now that the design board is built, the last two steps are pretty self-explanatory. Number 4, do the design. Sit down and plug all of those decisions into a comprehensive design. And number 5, the virtual walkthrough. Show the design from every angle and virtually walk through the entire project so that the client can see and choose their dream kitchen without needing to use their imaginations. Once we got to this point, the Bensons saw their layout and they just absolutely loved it. Again, they made traditional choices, pulled it all together to give themselves a warm, rich look that was a huge improvement to what they had before and definitely improvement over the water damage. Now, why did we choose to talk about this project, or what's unique about this project? Well, what's unique about it is we don't run into many projects where money and or budget isn't one of the major decision-making factors. And that lack of financial concern kept the client's focus 100% on the value and quality of the product and not just the price alone. That was unique. Now, you'd think that all things being equal, most would take the nicer product simply because it's nicer, but the Bensons didn't do this. Instead of just opting with nicer, they went with a product that gave them everything they wanted and nothing that they didn't. And honestly, in a kitchen design, what more could you ask for? Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please click like and subscribe, and we'll see you again. Take it easy.